The small town of Harpswell, Maine, shrouded in the salty mist of the Atlantic, had always carried an air of mystery. It wasn't just the chilling winds that swept through its narrow streets, but the stories whispered in its corners, tales that crept like shadows among the townsfolk. Amongst them, the enigmatic story of the Victorian house perched perilously on the cliffs loomed largest. Jane Flanagan, now returning to the town she'd fled years ago, bore the weight of her own spectral past. A once promising Harvard archivist, a misstep had tarnished her reputation, and now she found herself spiraling back to her roots. With trepidation, Jane accepted the task from Genevieve, the new, eccentric owner of the house on the cliffs, to uncover the ghostly past within its walls. This Victorian Leviathan had been a source of fascination and dread in Jane's teenage years. Its tall, darkened spires stabbed at the sky, and its history was woven with a delicate gossamer of rumor and legend. Many, like Genevieve, believed the house was haunted, a belief Jane was determined to either dispel or confirm. Genevieve herself was a character drawn straight from the pages of the world she now inhabited. Her antique-laden summer retreat was both a fortress and a gallery, filled with modern twists that clashed against the ancient wood and faded wallpaper. She was convinced that the spirits of the past still echoed through the hallways. Armed with curiosity and skepticism, Jane began her work. The library, though new, was a treasury of old manuscripts and forgotten diaries. Jane's fingers tingled as she flipped through the faded pages, stories unspooled before her, painting a tapestry of lives that seemed as vivid as their tragic endings. Layers peeled back as Jane revealed the house's secrets. Here were tales of lost love, where whispered promises had been washed away by time's relentless tide. Each woman who resided within those walls seemed to carry a burden, whether it was the devastation of losing a child or the smothered flame of artistic aspiration. The darkest chronicles, however, were those threaded with the poison of colonialism. Wealth and ruin, power and guilt, these had seeped into the very bones of the house like a toxin, visible in the corner rooms where the light never touched. Jane was reminded with every unraveling story that the past was never dead, but merely biding its time. In solving the mysteries of the house, Jane inadvertently found herself. Each uncovered story, each ghostly whisper, became a part of her own journey of redemption. The women of the house reached out across time, their spirit kindling something within her that had lain dormant, a courage she'd forgotten, a voice she thought silenced. It was when Jane stood at the edge of the cliff, the wind shrieking past, that she realized how deeply the legacies of the past shaped the present. For years, she had sought to escape her beginnings, yet here she was, a guardian of memory, standing defiant against the tides that threatened to consume her. As she stepped back from the precipice, Jane knew that while some ghosts were meant to haunt, others served to illuminate the shadows.